Today, today I'm going to have a guest with me on this live stream, and we're going to be talking about women's health and superpowers. Welcome, welcome. Today I'm going to have a guest joining me for the live stream. We're going to be talking about women's health. And let me just see if she is here. Hello, welcome.
Hello.
Hello, can you hear me well?
Yes, I do. Can you hear me?
Yes, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. I just finished meditating, so I was a little late because of that.
No worries.
Well, thank you so much for reaching out and wanting to do this live stream. I'm very excited.
Yeah, I'm excited to do it with you and share some insights. Yeah.
Well, Olga and I have actually never met. I don't think we've actually chatted before, but we are both in a group that is led by Dasha Kabalova, who is our teacher, and she is a Sanamar and Kundalini Yoga teacher trainer and has a school of over 280,000 students. And we are in the same group with her, and she leads us personally as the master of Sanamar used to lead her. And so this is where we met and got to really find out about each other.
That's what connects us.
Yeah. Could you
Even though.
share, introduce yourself and share a little bit about yourself?
Yes, sure. So, my name is Olga. So, I've been practicing with Dasha. It's my 5th year, actually. So, I also completed multiple courses for yoga teachers. I work in a tech company, but I really want to start teaching more. So that's why I want to share my own story and how it helped me. I want to hear your story and your clients' success stories because it's really like my life completely changed. I've completely changed that I couldn't even imagine that I could be that person. Um, so it's really a big part of my life now. So uh, yeah, we're just here today to talk about it.
Yes, thank you. I find it really interesting because our teacher Dasha was sharing her students' success stories. And as I was reading upon it, I realized that it's not common actually with a lot of yoga teachers to be able to work with health issues, prosperity issues, self-realization, woman issues. I mean, you name everything. It just
Yeah,
doesn't seem like this is something you come to yoga for.
for sure.
And with our teacher, her specialty is very much working with actual health issues, money problems,
Yeah,
things that really matter day to day. And it's not about
yeah,
just growing spiritually, but also how do you grow in your health, your relationship? How do you reach your goals, which is not common in yoga. So this is a
yeah,
specialty that really comes from our teacher, and then we learned it from her, going through multiple intensive teacher trainings to be able to learn how she does this. How do we actually help our clients heal their health issues? And we were her students before we decided to become teachers
yeah. It
ourselves.
was never my intent. Yeah, I was doing it for myself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Could you share how you came to Dasha and what was healed for you?
Yes. So so as you said, like what people come to yoga for example, or to meditate, to become calm, yeah, not to change their life, yeah, like usually, yeah. So they don't think that this could be the tool that will change their life. So in my case, I think at the bottom of like of my life. So I was living back in Israel, finishing my postgrad. Um, I think I was the most anxious person in this world. So I was anxious like all the time, like chronically anxious. Uh, this country in general, Israel, they are not calm people, you know, because of the situation and all the things that happening there. So I was just a super anxious person. I was smoking, addicted to smoking, smoking weed. Um, for the focus, I was taking a pill to be able to focus on my for my exams, you know, for my undergrad, what I was studying. Um, my self-esteem was somewhere at the bottom. So like all the areas of my life, but at that point, it was not like seemed like very bad, you know. It was like okay, that's usual. The like everyone has health issues, you know. I had it's called tonsillitis, I think,
Yes.
like tonsillitis. I think every 2 months, and I was every time like taking antibiotics. And women's health issues like cystitis, you know. Also every now and then, but it's like coming and again and again. So, and I was surrounded by people like same issues, you know. All the women have some women's health issues, you know. Everyone is smoking, like it's like normal, you know, normal life, yeah. But but then somehow I got so lucky because I came to the live stream of Dasha, and she did some like she said to me something about my situation. I'm like, how is she like how did she knew this, you know? So I came to this seminar, first seminar on the throat chakra. It was like 6 hours or something. I don't know what was happening. But then, like after the first seminar, I was like reborn, you know? You don't know what's going on. You're just practicing some breaths, you're just doing some moves, and then you're like it's another you, another reality, you know?
Hmm.
My voice changed. I'm like, wow, I hear myself like differently, you know. Um, so like from that moment, I'm like, I don't know how it works. I'm just following her. And then with the time, all the health issues just disappeared, you know, like a magic, you know. I have friends now also like women, yeah, that have some women's health issues. I'm telling them like you can heal it once and forever, you know, not with pills, but working with your like state, with your body, like through the yoga. It's like it's magic, you know.
Hmm.
And not only the health, I was able to move to another country by myself. Yeah. Now I'm in Dubai. Now I work in sales. You know, it's the most like you
Speech.
need to express yourself, like speech.
Yeah,
Yeah. So like all the areas of my life. Yeah.
has changed. That's
And
really.
prosperity too. Yeah. The money. I was dependent on my parents on money. Was not making money at all. Um, and now I'm sustaining myself. You know, yeah, this is just now I'm thinking about it. It's just a dream come true, you know. But back then, it was just like miserable life that you don't even realize at what point you are. Yeah, because this is the standard, you know.
It's the standard. Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I
Can you
remember,
share? Yeah,
well,
your
for me,
yeah,
it was something very similar when you were saying, just in a constant state of anxiety. And it
yeah,
was normal. It's
yeah.
normal everywhere. And, it was constant state of anxiety. I had no idea what I wanted. I was so depressed. And I really believe that, maybe if I can travel, I'll be happy. Like it will fix my problem. I just need to get out.
Yeah.
And my first trip was like my first European trip. I went, I was still really depressed. And then I went to Moscow. I had my first seminar with Dasha in person, her Satnam sign
Mhm.
healer training. And I remember just not understanding what was happening. I knew everything about yoga,
Yeah.
but it was a very different experience because here it was a lot about she would say, okay, everyone has a really big block in their shoulders. We need to work with this. And it was the meditations would always be so painful, even though physically it was very easy,
Yeah.
because it would always work on not just the physical point, but the emotional, the mental block. And then
Yes.
afterwards, I would feel so much relief, and I couldn't
Yes.
believe it. And again, like you said, how she knew everything about you in one consultation. It happened to me. I was really
Mhm.
depressed. I was like, I was staying with her because my partner is her son. And so I was staying with her, and I would see them meditating, working all day, and I would just do nothing, sit on the couch, wait for them. And she just came up to me one day and she said, you know, what you really need is to work with your brain because you're really depressed. You have no energy. Because I was like at the mirror looking at my hair and I could see there were white hairs coming out. And I was like, I'm 18. Why do I have white hair? And I started to freak out. And she said, you know, because it's not about your hair, but you're
Yeah.
very depressed. And this is why you have no energy and you're starting to have white hair. And at the same time, it was also normal because a lot of my friends also started to have white hair, were always anxious. Nobody knew what they wanted. So I thought this must be normal.
Yeah.
And in 1 month, she showed me, okay, the first thing that happened was in 2 days, she showed me, okay, well, you need money. You have no money. So I will show you how to make money. And in 2 days, I was able to earn 800 euros myself. And I had never earned even that much working for other people for a full month. And I did it in 2 days.
Yeah.
And I was in a state of shock. It's just like, wow, how did I just make this? I don't even know how it happened. But she's like, do this, do this. Okay, here, it will work out. And go and do it. And she knew exactly what I needed to do. And from there, within a month, I got out of my depression and I began to do a lot of things I always wanted to do, but I was too terrified. Because
Yeah.
since I was, I think, 5 or 6 years old, I had a lot of fear doing anything by myself, like even going downstairs to like a small convenience store. I couldn't do it. I felt so much anxiety. And so I was able to go to the gym, to go to any classes, to try anything. And so I never left the apartment unless I was with someone. I felt
Wow.
always this state of anxiety and stress. And I started to get out of it in 1 month. I didn't even realize it at the time that I
Yes.
had this fear. It was just like normal. Like I'll wait till somebody takes me out.
Wow.
Yeah. And in after that, I decided to start learning from her. I did her teacher training
Mhm.
and my life started to change. I decided to start teaching yoga. I opened this social media account and I couldn't speak back then. For me, public speech was the worst. It was a
Yeah.
topic that since I was going to preschool, and my parents still have all of my reports from my teachers, which was she never talks, she never engages, she
Mhm.
never answers any of our questions.
Yeah.
And I just had this block. So it was something I had even from the time I was born, from the time I started to speak, where I couldn't speak. I had a lot of difficulty communicating with people. And I never expected that by going to yoga and meditation, because I had already been doing it for 14 years before I met Dasha. So I
Yeah.
didn't expect that this yoga, this meditation was different from the normal of what I had done, or that
Yeah.
it would heal something I had since early childhood.
Yeah. And the crazy thing, like we think that, oh, for example, oh, I'm like a shy person, oh, I'm an angry person. And that's like, you think that like, that's what you are. And that's like your your life. Like that's your like forever, you
Identity.
know?
Yeah.
Identity. Yeah. But then you realize you can change everything in your identity, like from your even like how your face looks, your health, your like what surrounds you, everything. You know, this is the craziest.
Yes, I mean, as exactly as you said, because I always thought, well, I'm a very shy person. I'm a very anxious person. I take a
Yeah,
very long time to learn new things. And whenever I'm doing new things, I get really anxious and depressed and angry. So I had this idea of who I am and
yeah,
what I'm able to do and what I can't do. And there was like 99 of things were on the I can't do this, it's impossible, I don't like it,
yeah,
it's not for me. And this is something I really struggled with. And it was always showing up even in this most random of places, even with clothing. Like I had an idea of like, since I grew up from an early age, I would always dress like a tomboy. And I thought, well, that's my style. I like to dress like a guy. I wear baggy clothes and, I don't like girly things at all. But when I
yeah.
began to work with my anxiety with Dasha, immediately my clothing style started to change, which is really strange because I thought, no, no, no.
Yeah,
I know what I like. I know what suits me. And immediately that began to change. And I
yeah.
started, but at the same time, it wasn't just about clothing, it was also realizing that I felt really anxious and insecure about my body and
Oh yeah,
myself. And
oh
this is
yeah,
why I was always hiding behind these baggy clothes and manly clothes because I thought, I can't wear that. I won't be able to look good in it. Or I will feel really insecure and weird in it. And
same.
here, through with yoga, with Dasha, not just any yoga, but the highest yoga of Kundalini yoga and the meditation, it was immediately connecting always. When I would work with one issue, just depression, it also began to change everything else where not only did I heal my depression, but I started to sleep better, I started to have more creativity, I began
Yeah,
to be able to open my own work and business, and many things started to unfold just by working on one topic.
yeah.
And it was just so interesting to me that I could go with one topic and many things will change in 1 month in my life.
Yeah, you were telling about the body. You know, it's like I think this is the most self-acceptance is the most like the biggest problem for all the women, you know? So I
Yes.
was also like I had like my body, but then there was like million things that I didn't like in myself. Yeah. And then the outer world would reflect this on me. For example, some guy would tell me, "Oh, you need to get like you need to lose weight," or like something else, you know, uh, or something else about your like appearance or your like style,
Mm-hmm.
and then it would make you even more like insecure, or like, or you want to change, like you want to change your like nose or like, your like lips or something else. So this was like also a huge part in the work that I've gone through with yoga. So then now, like, I don't have even any thought about like changing something in me, like going to the surgery, you know, plastic surgery. In Dubai, this is like huge thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like when you are natural, you're like standing out, you know, here. So I like I just want to like help this woman to love themselves as they are, because you are like a creature, like divine creature, you know? But then only with our thoughts, we're so making ourselves like we're thinking of ourselves as ugly, like not worse, not like beautiful, this is not as a standard, you know. Yeah,
Absolutely. And it's really interesting that you say that because I feel that, and this is something we actually learned with our teacher, is that the more anxious, the more stressed, or the more we aren't able to accept ourselves, it actually begins to reflect on our body, and it
And the
begins
health
to
issues.
and the
Yes.
health.
Yes.
Absolutely. Our health issues, our face, they hold, they're like a map directly showing you that there's a lot of fear, a lot of stress, a lot of trauma, something that sits really heavy in the body, and it reflects.
Oh
And it
yeah.
was really interesting for me because um, I never, I, from a really early age, felt that I was really ugly. I don't know why. I just thought, wow, I'm really, really ugly. And I remember when I began to work with my teacher, one of the most interesting things that began to change is that I just started to love myself. I just started
Yes.
to feel, wow,
Just
I
have
feel really
this.
good in myself. And in that
Yeah.
same moment, my partner would also start to compliment. It's like, you look even more beautiful than usual. Like in the mornings, I'm like, my hair is everywhere. And he's like, no, 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 you look really good. But I'm
Yeah.
like, I have done nothing. I haven't washed my face, nothing. But it really reflects because every time we would go through a seminar, and for me, the topic of women's health was the biggest, women's self-realization, because I had no idea even what this topic meant or how
Yeah.
important it was. But when I started to go through it, the first thing that I just started to really love everything about myself, even my anxieties or even my problems, the things I always said, well, I need to get rid of it in
Yeah.
order to feel good, in order to feel
Yeah.
like I'm loved or I am deserving of something.
Oh
And that
yeah.
was the first, one of the first things I noticed that began to change is that the more good I felt within me, the more it reflected externally. And it reflected even with just random people coming up and speaking to me, even all of my friends saying, like, your face has really changed, even though it hadn't changed, but it had changed so much
Yeah.
because it begins to reflect your internal state a lot
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
And I think
That.
it really shows, especially with everyone in our close club, with Dasha, us, her leading us, where everyone really becomes so much more beautiful. It's not that
Yeah.
they weren't before, it's just that whenever we have a lot of stress, it really changes the structure of our face.
Yes.
And when it starts to heal, like people in their 60s, in their 50s, everyone looks like in their 30s now in the clothes club. And it's amazing.
Yeah. At least minus 10 years. Yeah.
100%, yeah. But at the same time, it also reflects in their health because in our
But
clothes
this,
club,
yeah,
a
sorry.
lot of
It was,
people,
this was never our, like, the goal, to make
yeah,
ourselves like beautiful, more beautiful. We just want to become like more like calmer, yeah, balanced. And then from this inner balance, just everything like we become more beautiful. We have more clarity in life. From this balance, all your life becomes like just
easy. Yeah,
harmony, and easy. Yeah.
absolutely. And I think it's so interesting because we're always kind of looking for, we feel like we need a lot of different things to make ourselves more beautiful. At the same
Yeah.
time, we never expect like our health issues to go away. Like maybe we reduce the symptoms, but not that it would go away completely.
Yes.
And for me, all of my health issues went away. I had
Mine too.
since early childhood, I had a lot of digestive issues.
Mm.
And when I was, I think, in my teens, I started to have also hormonal issues. Every month, like a clock, horrible period pains, back pain. Since I was 10 years old, constant migraines, and I would have like chronic spasm in my shoulder that sometimes would paralyze my neck at like 3, 4 times it happened, and it was really bad.
Wow.
And it was just something that I had already been doing yoga for so many years that I didn't expect it to go away. And then when I began to work with Dasha, it just left. It just stopped coming completely, and I was so shocked. I was
Yeah.
so shocked that it just left. And then that's when I also decided I really want to learn from her how to teach her, especially her methodologies. And you were telling me that you wanted to teach one of her methodologies.
Oh, yep. Yeah. So I was teaching the prosperity one and then also the throat chakra. And now I will do the women's methodology. So we will work on the self acceptance, the topic number one for women. We will accept our, as you say, as we see it, like ugly sides of ourselves, and we will stop fighting ourselves from the like inside. And then on the day two, we will work on self realization, so woman realization, the topic that we work a lot with Dasha, right?
Absolutely.
Prosperity, realizations, let's take action. Yeah, not just let's relax and do nothing. So
Mhm.
um, I think this is so fundamental for women, all women. First, have this inner balance, and then also to like take the right action, not from the stress, but from the calm, clarity, and balance. Yeah. Let's talk about
Absolutely.
the woman's prosperity realization. How did that topic help
Mhm.
you, changed your life?
Well, I remember when I first did this workshop that you're going to teach. So it's a methodology that was created by our teacher, Dasha Kabalova, and it's
Yeah.
her best practices that have helped women heal their health issues, prosperity problems, relationship problems, and then ultimately how to understand what self-realization is, how to
Yeah.
fulfill your goals, your wishes, how to understand what is for you, what's not for you.
Yeah.
And for me, I remember the first time I did this workshop, I think in me, I always felt that I can't do anything. Like it's really hard. Everything's really difficult. Everything's really tiring. And it only brings me more anxiety. So what's the point of trying? And
Yeah.
so I remember the first time we did this methodology, I just felt so much relief from that state of this internal pressure that always feels like I don't know, like a rock is sitting on your chest
Yeah.
and in your
Heaviness.
throat. Yeah.
Yeah.
And every time you do something, this tension just builds up again and again and more.
Yeah.
But then I remember the first day we went through this topic of the methodology, this pressure just lifted. And the next day, I was able to get myself 6 clients immediately just by like 2 actions. I wrote some posts, wrote some clients, and they immediately came to me.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, here every day, I felt like it was really a struggle. You know, I have to like write for months and months and months, and then hope some client will see it and hope they will like it. But
Yeah.
immediately after this workshop, my state completely changed where I really felt that how to connect with my clients, what do I need to share? And I also understood how to do it in a way that works for me, that works
Mm-hmm.
best for me. And my clients resonated with me just looking at myself.
Yeah.
And that came in a form of prosperity very quickly.
Mm-hmm. Same. So for me, it was. Um, I went back. I went to Canada to do my postgrad, and then after that, I was trying to find a job, like my first job. I was
Mm.
applying, I think, for like thousands, thousands of job applications. Yeah, and I was getting like zero. I was not getting a job for like months. And then also Dasha told me like you need to work on like prosperity. Like you need, you know. So I went. I think it was like some program of also or 2 days or a week or something, and I got a job. You know. Now when I moved to Dubai by myself, the recruiters are coming to me. You know, not that I'm applying to thousands jobs and getting like zero replies. they're getting to you and like offering you a job, like please come. So this is like completely different from what was before. And then also in sales, I'm doing this like tech sales with ease, you know, not that I'm sitting like and fighting like every call or every person. I'm just doing it, and I'm calm, and like I will do it with ease, and that it happens, you know. But
Hmm.
it was not what it was before. So also
Yeah,
magical now.
super. I mean, that's something that I feel it happens automatically when we begin to bring ourselves into a state of internal harmony and balance, where we feel
Yes.
like we have to always chase after something that we really want, that we have
Yeah.
to do. And it's very complicated. I remember just thinking to myself, every time I would think, well, I need to take this one step, or I need to take these steps to reach my goal. To me, even that one step, even though it was really simple, like write a post or write to my clients, it felt like I had to be learning how to play the piano, learning music theory, and learning how to drive a car, while at the
Yeah.
same time making sure to kill nobody. That's really how every step felt to me.
Yeah.
And I remember when, after going through this methodology on women's health, that tension went away, and I felt like everything I do is really simple. I don't need to do 1,000 steps.
Yeah.
And people started to come to me, just as you said. I started to get multiple yoga studios from around the world, started to reach to me. The school that was founded by the master of Kundalini Yoga, the director reached out and offered me a job to go and work there. And I was really shocked, because it wasn't that I was perfect or that I was really good at marketing. It was none of that. It's just I started to come into such a state of balance that every post I wrote, which is just 10, 20 minutes, it would
Yeah.
connect to people around me. So much
Yeah.
so that they wanted to offer me a job, money, everything. And it was so crazy, because I thought, how is this happening? Because to get a job, it's really difficult. You have to really fight for it. And, you're competing with thousands of people. So really, there's no chance. It's a really stressful thing. But
Yeah.
then Dasha was so clear about how to release that internal pressure, and then it changes the way you attract people, attract
You start,
companies
you
as well.
start to attract, really. Yeah.
Yeah,
You're not chasing, you're attracting from your state. Yeah. Because the
absolutely.
first, like the initial thing is your state, and then comes from this stage, your thoughts comes, and then your actions. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like the most important thing is to work on your state. And for example, for those who are, if someone like at the very like bad state or some crisis, you know, this is the most like this is the moment to start to work on yourself, not
Mm-hmm.
when the things will be better. Yeah, to start now, and then things will become better, because you're
Yeah.
like you will think differently. Maybe you will see more options. Yeah, maybe you will I don't know, something will change, but first you change your own state. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. Because I think this is something I didn't know, and I want to share about this, is that, let's say we work on anxiety, and I think is like, well, how is working on my anxiety, relieving my anxiety, going to help me get a better job? And I think
Yes.
this is something I want to really share, because I didn't know it
Yeah.
for forever, and until I really started to work with Dasha, did I learn this, and also through my own experience, because I thought, working with
It's not
anxiety
connected. Yeah,
is
yeah.
not connected. Exactly. Yeah, it's not connected to prosperity. How is
Or
that
my health
connected?
is not connected to the state.
Absolutely. And I think I'll share first with my client's story, and then I'll share my own. So I had a client who came to me who wanted to work with prosperity.
Yeah.
She didn't tell me she had any health issues, so I had no idea. And I don't think she expected any of her health issues to go away either. So she
Yeah.
came to me and she said, well, this is what I want to work with. I want to get a job. I haven't been able to find one for a few years, and I keep sending in applications and trying to get interviews, but nobody replies, nothing. And
Yeah.
she had a really big portfolio, had a lot of experience, but she was let go during COVID. So she was looking, but nothing was coming.
Yeah.
And so I looked at her through a personal consultation. I said, well, you need to work on these topics. And I told her the best way first, if, especially with prosperity, is we can walk in private classes. And she said, okay, sign me up. So she signed up for the private classes, and in 2 weeks we did two classes, and in 2 weeks she got a job interview. It was her dream
Wow.
job, and at the same time she went there and negotiated a higher salary. And the entire time, I didn't give her any prosperity meditations. I didn't even really give her any prosperity tasks. Her main topic was anxiety. She was very, very anxious, really stressed. And of course, you're in a very stressful situation, especially now. You lost your job, you're unable to get a job. Years have gone by, you're unable to get a job. It's extremely stressful. It's not
Yeah.
something that is not going to be stressful. And here in this class, I didn't say, well, let us just completely work with prosperity and try to get over the anxiety. But we just worked with how to stabilize her state so that she could go through and be stable in this very anxious, stressful situation.
Yeah.
And her state changed so much that when she reached out to this company, her dream company, they replied immediately. In a week, she had the interview. She was hired right away. And then the week after, she was able to join the company.
Yeah.
And it was so crazy. And she was like, I can't believe this happened. And then she continued to come to classes because I told her for her, the main topic is to work with stress and anxiety. And she continued to come. And later she told me, well, when I came to you, I had epileptic seizures and I had been having them for years. And she was on very heavy medication from her doctors, had regular check ins. And
Yeah.
after she began to practice with me, it completely left.
Wow.
Zero, zero, no more episodes. And then to a point that she was able to get where she was able to come off the medication with her doctor's help. And she, till now, zero episodes, zero health issues.
This is crazy.
It's
Yeah.
completely crazy. And the
Yeah.
only thing we walked with was anxiety and stress. And I said, this is your topic. If you walk with these two, you'll be fine. If you keep yourself stable, you keep releasing your anxiety and your stress, everything else will be balanced. It will never go to a point where it's out of control. You'll
Yeah.
never, and until this day, she's never had an episode. And they were happening regularly and randomly as well. And this is something, it's not just, I'm having these seizures, but it's very, very damaging for the body. It's extremely stressful. It's extremely dangerous. And
Yeah.
so I having this client kind of made me realize just, wow, how much we can heal with this yoga and meditation.
Yeah.
It's
Everything.
insane. Yeah. And it was a very, I mean, I didn't have this huge health issue. It was all these small things that would compile over time. But when I began to work with Dasha, she didn't, I told her I want to work with anxiety. She said, no, you need to work with prosperity. And I thought, why? My issues, they have nothing to do with prosperity.
Yes.
But immediately when she said, no, that's your topic. And my partner had a consultation with the master son of Marsayan, he said, oh, how's your girlfriend? And he said, oh, you know what she needs to work with is prosperity. And I thought, why? Why is everyone giving me prosperity? I hate this topic.
Yes.
And I remember when I started to walk with prosperity, doing the tasks that we would get in the methodologies from Dasha, I would have all of my issues that normally are like um, they would come up randomly. They all started to come up like to my face. Like my problem with not being able to speak properly, being able to communicate, set boundaries, my fear of rejection, my fear of failure, all of this would come up. And I would think, well, this is not the topic for me. But every time I would conquer or fulfill a goal with prosperity, even the smallest one, which was like, I want to be able to buy myself a dress, those fears, those anxieties, those health issues would start to reduce.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand how it's connected because I'm working with prosperity on one hand, not related to anxiety, not related to hormonal issues, not related to health issues at all. But
Yeah.
every time I would work on those topics, everything else that I felt was my topic or that was very stressful for me would begin to heal. And I learned from Dasha that for me, prosperity was always the trigger that would not only just bring it up, but at the same time, every time I would conquer or fulfill a goal, it would release one of those fears and those blocks. Because without prosperity, I would always feel very small. I would feel very insecure because I can't do anything. I have no money. I have no security. How can I be happy? How can I be healthy? How can I have any strength or be able to set any boundaries? And in order for me to be able to heal those issues, I needed to work with prosperity because I needed to see that I am capable of doing something.
And then every time you conquer these like blocks or like fears, you feel more like you have yourself, you know? You
Yeah,
have this inner strength that is like just growing and growing, you know? You don't need partner, you don't need any help. Yeah, like you have your own back, like your inner strength is like expanding, growing. You're like unstoppable, you know? The
absolutely.
more you work on your state, you're able to do more things that you wanted or your like your goals, your dreams, yeah, and then it just expanded and expanded. I feel it
Yeah.
too.
And I think
Mhm.
the methodology that you're going to teach, it's
Yeah,
one of the fastest ways to go through an entire process that helps you
yeah,
work through your fears, helps you understand what you want from your life, helps you
yes,
open up in multiple blocks because
yeah,
our our health issues, our prosperity issues, it's not just I have anxiety, but it's multiple a multitude of blocks and tension.
yeah,
It's not just this one point. And this is why this methodology is so amazing, especially for beginners, because it
yes,
works on multiple areas. Like we work on the heart center, so we
yeah,
release all the fears, all the pain and grief from the past. We work with self realization, a lot to do with prosperity and our throat chakra. So being able to communicate and not just
yeah,
communicate to the world, but to ourselves. This is the worst communication. I realize that women have horrible communication with themselves because they feel like they need to please everyone, make everyone else happy, but they don't know how to make themselves happy. They don't know how
yes,
to fulfill themselves. And it's interesting because when I started to do it, at first, because my family is very religious, very Indian. And so my mother had a lot of problems with me saying, well, this is what I like, this is what I want, this is what I'm doing. She would
yeah,
say, oh, you know, you're Sikh, you're Punjabi, you need to dress a certain way, you need to be a certain way, you need to act a certain way. You shouldn't be
yeah,
talking about money. These are not things women should talk about. But when I began to do it and I said, you know, I'm doing this for myself because I recognize my value, because I started to love myself. And she couldn't understand it for the first few months at all. But then
yeah,
after this methodology, the funniest thing happened where she started to copy everything I was doing. And I would start to laugh because I said, you were just complaining to me and screaming at me saying, you know, you're being really disrespectful. You're not, you're not being the person you should be. And she started to do everything that I was doing for myself. She started to go and shop for herself. She started to wear the clothes that she really wanted, but never bought herself. And I
yeah,
started to realize that this is something. that's been happening for generations where we don't allow ourselves to be who we want. We really feel trapped. We really feel very small in terms of what we can achieve and who we can be. But in this methodology, it releases that subconscious tension or limitation that you have that really makes you believe that nothing can change. I'm unable to change, that nobody will accept me. And this was really the case. I had a very, very religious parents, and they still are. But till this day, they say they are never cross my boundaries anymore.
Oh,
And
yes.
they never have that conflict of, you shouldn't be like this or you should be like this anymore, because they understand and they see that my actions are not to hurt anyone, but it's a complete acceptance of self.
Yeah, you separated yourself from your parents.
Yeah.
Yes. This was also my like one of the topics that I worked with Dasha. So, and the craziest thing about my mother, I will add also. So for years, she was looking at me like I don't know what you're doing there with this yoga. This is very weird. This is something I don't understand. But like whatever, you know. This year, I came to visit them in Belarus. She came to me and said, "Can you give me some meditation?" I'm like, "Is it really happening?" My mom is like 60 something years old. I'm like, "Of course, please do this." I gave her meditation for 40 days and she did it.
Wow.
She, like, at the end, she was like, "Can you give me another one?" So this was like blowing my mind because, I was never like, I was just doing my thing. I know that it is helping me. I'm like say whatever, your opinion is your opinion. I'm just doing what's good for me, I just feel good. My life is getting better, I will continue um what I'm feeling like doing. And I was never like, "Yeah, mom, you need to meditate too." Yeah, she just came to me because she saw how she saw that I've changed. Yeah. And this is crazy, So even if my mom, who is 60 something years old, can do this meditation, like everyone can do this.
Absolutely. And I think it's really interesting because here it's not like you have to go to the gym and lift 500 kilos to heal yourself, to change your life every single day. It's
Yeah.
with the methodology, it's 2 days, 2 days, a few hours a day. So one weekend that changes your life completely.
Yeah, and this is not like a 10 minutes a day and then nothing changed, just you become calmer. You're coming for like a three hours, working on yourself for 3 hours only, and then you're like your perception of your life, your perception of yourself is changing, and then you're living on a different level.
On
So
a
this is
different level.
happening
Yeah.
quickly.
It's coming really quickly. And I think it's really interesting because I remember people would say, well, meditation is not for me. I don't like to meditate, or I don't connect with it. And I realized that for us, it's like we are really looking for a magical pill. And
Yeah.
here we have something that's really easy. Imagine, because the yoga that we do, it's not like you have to go into a crazy yoga posture. Most of it is sitting down. You put comfortable pillow in your back, comfortable something on the floor to sit on, and then you're
Yeah.
sitting in these postures. Really simple. You're doing really simple breaths. So for a beginner, it's extremely easy. It's not like demanding on your body in that sense where you really feel like I'm really sick or I'm so tired I will not be able to go through like a boot camp. It's not like
Yeah.
that. It's a very gentle process physically. Physically, it's extremely gentle process where you're sitting in a posture, you're sitting like this, or you're sitting like
Like this.
this, or like this. Yeah, it's so simple. But
Yeah.
these postures, they have been passed down for thousands of years through the Kundalini Yoga lineage. And what they do is they work on the point in the subconscious, in the body, that creates that trigger, that illness, that tension. And then it begins to release it in the posture, in the breath, during the time period of the meditation. And you don't have any idea of what's going on, but
Yeah.
all these health issues, all this anxiety, it starts to reduce, and then it leaves. And then over the next few weeks, the way you see yourself, it starts to change. The way you eat starts to change. Like just recently, we went through a audio class with our teacher, and after that, I noticed that I just started eating differently.
Mm-hmm.
And I just started eating healthier after junking out for 2 weeks during the, growing and coming to this point of holidays. And then
Yeah.
immediately after the class, this need for sugar and salt and heavy foods started to release. And now I just started eating much less and going back to healthier foods, becoming easier. And it's not like I'm starving myself. No, it's just physically, emotionally, I don't feel like I need to have the junk food again, which is very addictive as well to the brain.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm, I think it's really one of the most amazing things that we have is that it's incredibly gentle, the process. But at the same time, the result is massive, is tremendous because it really just changes the way you look at yourself, which is the most important. I know for a fact that I always thought I'm really weak, I'm really small, I can't do anything, I'm really anxious, nobody is helping me, nobody supports me, I'm all alone. And this thought process, this perception of self, every time it reflected every time I would write a post because I would write a post, I would post it and nobody would respond, or I would get like 2, 3 likes and I would think, oh, nobody loves me. I'm getting no
Yeah.
clients. The universe doesn't love me. I Nothing is moving, nothing's happening. And then
Because you
I
have
would
this perception.
exactly. And then I continue for a few days. Nothing is happening because I only wrote a post and I'm expecting like immediately thousands of clients will come to me, right? This is that perception of if I write one post, it should change my life immediately. So if it's not changing instantaneously, it means nothing is happening. And so you slowly keep bringing yourself into a state of anxiety, of depression, of tension, and then you just quit because you say, oh, nothing is working. But
Yeah.
the entire time, it's because your perception was reflecting so much in your actions that you didn't recognize that every post you write reaches to thousands of people. And even if they don't see it right away, when you start to do it more consistently, when you start to do different things that will attract more people, then you have all this content that they will come back, read, and say, wow, I really connect to this and I
Yeah.
want to work with you. We don't see it in that way because our perception of self is nobody loves me, everything is so slow, everything is so hard. So we
Yeah.
don't even get to a point where we recognize that if I take a step every day or I take multiple steps every day, I'm building the foundation for clients to come. And so when I noticed after the women's methodology, my perception changed a lot about myself. And I started to see, even though clients don't come right after I write my post, a few weeks later or a few months later, I get this client. And they don't just come one time, they keep coming back because they resonated not with just that one post, but they see all the other 20, 50, 100 posts that you've written, how much you've put yourself out there, that they are able to then connect to you and say, wow, I really liked what you write. And this is exactly how I got my clients. Before it was
Yeah.
like every time I would take a step and I didn't see instant results, it would just reflect back to my anxieties, to my pain of being, oh, everything is really hard. Nobody loves me. I'm being rejected by the world. But then when this perception changed, I was like, oh, it doesn't matter. Somebody else will see it tomorrow. And I've had so many clients who said, I've been following you for 6 months, for 3 years. And I just felt like now is the time. And I've been reading, I've been trying. I connected to it now and I sign up. And they sign up for classes for working with me, healing sessions. And so now I recognize that how much perception of self really matters. Acceptance of self really matters. Self love really matters because it allows us to have courage and willpower and the ability to continue even though we're not seeing immediate results. And often you will start to see that results, even if they're not happening the next day, they happen in a matter of a few weeks, a few months. It seems like a really long time, but it's not. It's the shortest amount of time to make something new, something big happen in your life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have some thoughts. Yeah, so yeah, looking back, it seems like when it's happening, it seems like everything is so slow, nothing is changing. But then, if I'm looking back like a year ago, this is crazy. Yeah, how many changes I've done to myself and my life, and this is all how thanks to the practice, the that we're doing every day.
Yeah. And I'm really happy you're teaching this workshop because now I want to teach it again. I taught it a few months ago. And it
Yeah.
was so powerful. The entire time I think half the women that joined me had never done any yoga and meditation before, but they felt
Hmm.
so much relief. They had so much energy after the class, and they were able to focus on the goals that they really wanted to achieve.
Yeah, this is a great start for the 2020, like for January, to do this at the start of the year, so you know where you're heading, what goals you want to achieve, and then you're just taking action without any stress or heaviness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I'm excited to teach it next week.
You'll be teaching it next week. Will it be online?
Just online, Saturday and Sunday, 11 a.m. Dubai time. It will be around 3 hours each day
Hmm.
with our yoga practices and some written exercises. So I'm excited.
Well, and do you have a place for people that they can write to you or see the workshop
In Zoom, on Zoom.
in Zoom? Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining me in this live stream and sharing your story. I hope we will do one again in the future soon. I
Yes.
really had a wonderful time talking to you.
Me too. Happy for like thank you for that.
Thank you
Thank you
as
for sharing
well.
your stories.
Thank you. Well, if you guys want to join the workshop, and especially anyone who will go through this live stream in the recording, message Olga and find out how to join because it's incredibly powerful and it is 28 years of our teacher Dasha Kabalova's best practices, most proven practices to heal health issues, prosperity issues, and to expand your self-realization and internal state of harmony and balance.
We've done it both, and we are now talking about it and smiling. So
Yeah,
yeah, this is very much recommended for every woman. Doesn't
absolutely.
matter if you're a beginner or not. This is just a precious gift that we were given.
Thank you
Thank
so
you very
much.
much.
Have a good
Thank
evening,
you.
and I hope to talk to you soon.
Me too. Thank you very much. Have a good one. Bye.
Ciao. Thank you all for joining as well.